We are afraid the information given so far is too optimistic.
We were now the only, or if not the only, we were the main outlet in the world for this world-class story. And we had to handle it right. And the worst thing that could have happened to us was to go either way, to say they were dead or they were alive, and have it turn out to be wrong.
The latest word we get from the airport is that, quote, all hell is broken loose out there, that there is still shooting going on, that there's a report of a burning helicopter, but all seems to be confusion. Nothing is nailed down. We have no idea what has happened to the hostages.
The guy named Otto Kench, I grabbed him and said, Otto, what's going on? He said, I can't tell you, Marvin. He says, Otto, we're on the air. We got to know what's going on here. And he pulled me aside and he said, they're all dead. And I said, who's all dead? And he said, all the Israelis.
Marvin said to me, it's really bad news. And I said, all of them? He said, yes. So I said to Roon, you can go with it. They're all gone.
We've just gotten the final word. You know, when I was a kid, my father used to say, our greatest hopes and our worst fears are seldom realized. Our worst fears have been realized tonight. They've now said that there were 11 hostages. 2 were killed in their rooms yesterday morning. 9 were killed at the airport tonight. They're all gone.
Jim McKay came on. I never forget it, and he said they're all gone. And I heard that, and pandemonium broke out in my house. Everybody started to cry and whatever.
Saying the words that they're all gone was maybe the hardest thing I've ever done on television.
We were sitting in this room watching that television, and once he said it, all our friends were here. We just shut off the TV, and everybody went home for the night.
I finally returned to our hotel room, which in Munich time was 4 o'clock in the morning. And my wife woke up as I walked in the room, and she said, what time is it? And I said, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. And she said, well, at least they were all saved. I said, no, honey. She said, that's what the German television said. So somebody came in and told me. I said, well, German television was wrong, that all of them were killed.
When the sun came up on September 6th, the horrifying scene at the airport was fully exposed to the stark light of day. As German pathologists and forensic scientists swarmed the scene, the Olympic Stadium was filling with mourners. Avery Brundage, president of the IOC, had scheduled a memorial service for the slain athletes. Anke Spitzer was one of those who was there.
On the way to the memorial service, walking or running more or less, I looked, and on both sides of the path there were athletes training. You know, there's an athletic field, and I looked and I said, this is a surrealistic world, you know. They just killed 11 athletes who came to the Olympics with the same dream as those guys, you know, to be part of this huge experience of love and brotherhood. And they have been killed. And here you guys are continuing running and doing it. Then we got to the memorial service, and I hear this Avery Brundage.
The games must go on.
Saying, you know, that the games will go on. And I just couldn't believe it.
The decision to move forward with the Olympic Games was controversial at the time, but many, even among the Israelis, believed the Games had to continue.
They delayed the Games to have the memorial service. And I think it was after that memorial service, and I remember walking back, and then we started to talk, and we were very quickly going through all these stages. That's when the anger, and then the anger, I think, very quickly gave way to resolve. And the resolve was, of course we have to go on. Of course the Games have to continue, because these people wanted us to stop. Therefore, we won't, we can't.
War had entered. It was an act of war in a sacred place. And the answer was not to be an act of war. It was to carry on with what was higher and more sacred. Grief and anger and misery. You can take all those things and burn them and turn them into performance. And I tried, and I did that reasonably well, but Frank did that magnificently. And so his gold medal for me has always been the perfect example of what sport can do, that transformation of grief and hatred into something better.